एक रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है क्या? वही करे तुम करोगे।
Joined us on our who's just joined us on our live session today. We're okay, excellent. We get a green light from the audience. We've had somebody say yes. Okay, so our viewers say that they can hear us. So I'd like to begin by explaining to you, and first of all, welcoming you on behalf of the Optimus Properties. My name is Hardik Chaudhary, and this is a live session where we are going to educate the people who are interested in the real estate market in Dubai about the current trends, about the different investment legalities or the regulations or questions people might have in terms of properties that they're investing in, properties that they're living in Dubai, if they're renting it out as a landlord, if they're trying to get properties for themselves. This webinar is focused on educating everybody about everything in real estate. So
पीछे
I'd like
रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही
to
है स्क्रीन
introduce you
पे.
to somebody who's our guest here today. And the topic of this webinar is the essential guide to property management in Dubai. And to tell us a little more about this, we have with us Abdur Rahman Khan, who has been working in the real estate industry here in Dubai for many years. He's working for the Optimus Properties. And one thing about Abdur Rahman Khan, he has been consistently for the past 3 months been the top performing agent at the Optimus Properties. He's been awarded with the title of Agent of the Month for past 3 years consistently. What that means is that he has closed the highest volume of sales, highest frequency of sales. So Abdurrahman, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on this engaging conversation.
Thank you so much, Hardik, for having me here on this webinar. And I'm really glad that we are discussing about the real estate industry and we are going to discuss about the property management services. So thank you again for having me here on this webinar.
It's such a pleasure. So, we've said the word property management over and over again. So, basically, for everybody that has joined us today, I'd like for you to explain to the viewers what property management is and why is it so important and how is it important aspect of the real estate industry here in Dubai.
Sure. So regarding the real estate services, like real estate management services, it comes in many shapes. Like it comes in various steps and stages. It includes in this management services. So basically, it depends upon what kind of a property do you have. Okay. So let's suppose if we can talk about two types of properties, which is off plan and the other one is the secondary market. So regarding the off plan, whenever you are buying the property from the developer, they gives you a certain time period. So handing over your property, right? So let's suppose if somebody bought today and book a unit today, they have a time like after 3 years in December 26 is their handover. So at that time, they requires the property management services. So in that property management services, we will go there on the behalf of the owner. We will do the inspection of the property. We will do the snagging and record all the snags. If there is any snagging required in that apartment or in that villa or that townhouse, we will go there. We will make a proper report in a PDF form, and we will also definitely capture each and every snagging over there in that property and recorded by the developer also. We will provide that inspection report to the landlords, and then we will provide that proper inspection report to the developer so they can fix those snagging before we can take the handover. So this is the off-plan management services, and all the other various stages will come after this handover process, like listing your property, managing your property, leasing your property, staging your property with the furniture or without the furniture, and we will push your property over the some different social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and then we will use the property online portals, which is Bayou, the Property Finder, and Dubizzle. So technically, we are the one who is taking care of your property like it's our own. So we will provide all the services till buying the property, till selling the property, renting the property, and if you do have any management, leasing, all those things will be covered by us in this management services.
Well, thank you. You've explained that very well. So, if I were just to summarize what you've said, there's two different kinds of real estate markets: the off-plan, the property that you've invested in, which is not ready yet, but will be ready for handover in the upcoming years, and then there's the ready section of the market where people are already there. So, this opens doors to uh, a variety of types of people from different backgrounds who can invest or who can opt for property management. So if we were to understand, like, who are the people who would ideally need property management, would you be able to narrow down on us, or what kind of a client would require property management basically?
Yeah, definitely. Regarding the property management services in these past years, if we are talking about the stats, so regarding that stats, mostly the international buyers, those who are the international investors and the buyers who have invested in Dubai, they need such kind of a properties. Or other than that, the second highest number for those kind of people who have multiple properties in Dubai that they cannot manage by themselves. So usually the property management services can be used by investors who are not in this country, like international investors or buyers, then multiple property owners, and then also if you do have a single property and you are currently living in Dubai, you can just let us know. We will manage your properties with such expertise. So anybody can use those services.
And I think, just going back to the basics of understanding, I think you mentioned a list of services that are offered under
Yeah.
the title of property management. And I believe snagging was the very first thing that you mentioned to us.
Yes.
So, for just the better understanding of our viewers, I think if you would explain what the process of snagging is there like a standardized checklist that you go through before the property is being handed over to the actual owner of that property?
Yeah, sure. So if we will talk about that step by step. Okay, so I will start from the very initial stage. Once we have signed the property management contract, okay. After that, same again, we will look upon the situation if it's a ready property, secondary market, or it's not ready property, which is off plan. So in that time period, we will go with the first step, which is snagging. Okay, so we will go there on your behalf, even though you are available in this country to see that property or not. We will go there with you, and even if you are not there, we will still go and to collect the handover and do the inspection and snagging process for you. So the first step is we will go for the snagging. We will check all the leakage, taps, scratches, and then we will check each and every aspect like doorknobs, there is lights issue, electrical issue, whatever the situation is in that apartment, because we make sure that if you are buying a property and you have invested this much, even though you didn't invest in those property through us, but we will make sure we will go there because you have put a lot of your hard earned money there, and we do not want you to get such kind of a property which you have paid and you are buying a brand new property and it comes up with so many maintenance issue even though it's from the developer. So we will go there, we will inspect each and everything. Our team will be always ready. So then, like we will appoint a team from our management team. They will go there. They will inspect windows, doors, ceilings, floor. Even there is a single scratch on the floor, single scratch, and there is even a dot. So we will capture that and we will record that snagging in that report, so we can also let the landlord know and let the developer know that even if you are the developer, you are giving us in this shape, we are not ready to accept that. So we will not accept that in property in such kind because we have paid and we have waited for such kind of a property. So we will not get that until or unless it's going to be in a better shape or in a brand new quality without any kind of a snagging.
Understood. Well, thank you. I do have a follow-up question to that, but at the same time, I'd like to remind the viewers that have joined us, and if you've just recently joined us, just wanted to let you know that this is the Optimus Properties with our very great agent Abdul Rahman Khan, and we're talking about property management services here in Dubai. And if you have any questions, you could feel free to reach out to us in the comments, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have in that regard. Now, Abdul Rahman, just wanted to ask you on the follow up. How
Yeah.
big is the property? I think this is also in our comments over here, right? Like how property management, property managers can navigate effectively, the the current this market is constantly changing, and if you are managing their property and if you are renting it out on behalf of them, how do you evaluate the property and how do you rent it out? What's that process, and how do you communicate with the landlord in this regard?
So, first, I will talk about step by steps again. So, it will be a better understanding for our viewers also. So, in that situation, first we have signed the management contract. Before we sit together, we will discuss about the property, what you are going to do with your property. Either you are going to rent your property, either you're going to sell your property. So we will act accordingly upon on your wish, whatever your preference is. If you want to hold your property, we will rent it out on your behalf. If you want to sell your property, we do have other investors, so we can present your property to the other investors, so they can buy it, and you have more money in that situation. So in terms of communication, like mostly what I recommend by talking to any of the landlords or any of the clients, I use emails a lot. I use WhatsApp text messages a lot because according to me, it is a better way of communication to avoid any kind of a conflicts like which is going to be rise up in the future. So if you are committing something over the email or over the WhatsApp messages, so you are not like going to change your words, or it's like a proof to you, so that you have said this. Now we are on this, so it's a better for
So
both
it's all
parties.
very, very professional, always
Yes.
clearly communicated. So that brings me to another question. When a landlord comes and signs a property management contract with you,
Yeah.
um, what would be some of the requirements in order for a landlord to be able to hand over a property into a property management service?
Okay, so there is not a big what I can say. It's not a big process. So in that situation, like let's suppose if somebody wants us to manage their property, in that scenario, we only require for their documentation of their property first, right? So because we have to double check and we have to verify the property, the documents they have sent to us regarding certain property, we have to recheck from the well land department, from RERA, if there is any other service charges, or if this title deeds needs to be updated or some other technicalities. So we will go through and follow up with those procedures. Then after verifying all of these, we will request for the owner's documentation. Mostly the documentation, there are four documentations we do require, like four simple informations we need, which is first title deed, the which we call in Arabic also a mulkiya. So title deed, then we need passport or ID. Okay, even if you are living in Dubai or you are an Emirati, or even though you are living in Dubai, so you can provide with the ID, passport, email, and mobile number. So just to be sure, email and phone number should be that one which you have registered with the developer. So when this is, I have also like I have seen in my past experiences. So a lot of people did not updated their emails and their phone numbers, which is registered with the developer, and they have given us their secondary numbers and emails, which cause us so many problems and so many conflicts in a
Why
time.
do you think is that important? Like, what kind of challenges could that create?
Okay, so the challenge is that like when you are buying a property, you have to be very sure, like this is my email, this is my phone number, and these are the contacts. Like in any case of like whether we are renting this property, whether we are selling this property, or whether we are signing a management contract. So whatever it is, we need to be sure that these documentations and these informations are very correct. I can give you an example. Let's suppose if we have signed the management contract and owner wants us to rent that property, right? So we will make the documentations and we will be managing these units. We will make a contract which is managed property contract, tenancy contract, and when the time of tenant wants to move in into that property, so that building management, that specifically developer wants to have authorization from the owner, from the landlord. Yes, because they wants to confirm their side. This is their duty, and they wants to confirm like either owner give them the authorization or not, and how they can verify that by the registered number and by the registered email, which is in the SPA while you are buying that property.
So I get that this is all that is required for you to be able to manage somebody's property. Now, certainly there is a lot of responsibility that has been handed over to you by the landlord in terms of making decisions for their property, right? So do you think that a landlord would feel safe around handing so much responsibility to you? And uh, another question that I got in regards to that is, I think, what would be the difference between a power of attorney and rather a landlord signing a management contract with you? So I think these are two questions. One is about the safety and that concern, obviously, that comes, and whether this is a POA or not.
So you raise up a very, very good point, Haziq. It's a very good point because a lot of people do confuse about these two things. So technically, they are totally different from one of each other, right? So let's talk about power of attorney. Power of attorney, it's legal documentations that you will do in your country, like with, let's suppose we're talking about Dubai. So in Dubai, you need to approve it from Dubai Land Department, and also it should be stamped by Dubai court. So it's a legal document. It is like owner is giving authorization to any of his family, relative, person, or friend, or whoever. He can authorize that person to act as a landlord, right?
Right.
So let's suppose if owner is giving me a power of attorney, that means he is giving me that authority that I can act as a landlord. But then I will be selling his property, renting his property. I don't need his signature. I don't need his signatures because I do not need to be concerned with the landlord, right? He already gave me the authorization, so legally I have a right to sign on the tenancy contracts or whether I'm selling his properties. So I am authorized by the landlord. So that is called as power of attorney. In property management contract, what we are doing in property management contract is a contract between the landlord and the agency, and it's always written over there in the property management contracts that we are performing certain jobs for the landlord on the owner's, on the landlord's behalf, right? So everything is mentioned in that property management contract. Apart from that, we are not allowed to do anything. So we cannot do anything by our own. So if even we are renting that property, even we are selling that property, we cannot do that without the consent of the landlord.
Right.
So whatever we are doing, we need his signatures, we need his approval through the email, through the WhatsApp messages. That we also need to be sure, like, yeah. So now we have the authorization. We are good to go. We are good to proceed with this procedure, and now we will step up the process and all that. So there is a huge difference between power of attorney and property management contract. It's like you are finding in property management contract, it's like you are finding somebody who will take care of your property as you will take care of your property. So this is more like a totally different from each other.
Understood. And I think that really, in the comments previously, I just saw a question which said, "Can you explain property management in simple terms?" And with what you have said, I think it's pretty safe to say that property management, basically, we take care of your property like you do. Is that something that we can say? Right. So, what is property management in simpler terms? It's just us taking care of your property like you would, or
Yeah,
sometimes
true.
it's better. Do you think?
Yeah, I will really say that by 100% surety that we will take care of your property even more than you. Because what I can raise up the point over here, I would like to add a point. So regarding this question, we will take care of your property more than you. Why is that? Because as per you are not the industry specialist, right? You are not the expert in the market. So what you will do, either you will ask a high amount of rent if you are renting your property. You will ask the high amount of rent that causes your property to be vacant for so long, or even not rented out at all, because you are not aware of the market standards, trends, and what is the current rentals are going on and all that situation. Or either you will rent the property too low, that will not cover your mortgage installments like EMI, that will not maintain your good ROI, and plus also in the next year, while your let's suppose you have rented your property in 100,000 dirhams, and the next year it goes up to 150, because at that time you don't know, you have rented into the low amount. So the next year, according to the RERA, according to the Dubai Land Department, if tenants wants to renew, you will get a certain amount, like 5,000 dirhams more, 10,000 dirhams more. So while other people are making 150, you are getting 110 or 150 15,000 dirhams. So this is
Understood.
a major difference, major important point why you need a property management. Because if you are getting a property management contract, you are not getting a single broker, you are getting a proper in-house media team, you are getting maintenance team, you are getting a marketing team, you are plus getting like selling department, leasing
I think
department.
I think
Yeah.
that was one of our questions too in the comments, which was that number one, are you licensed to operate properties on behalf of people, and number two, do you work individually or as a team, and what all is included in your team, right? So
So I will say this by Alhamdulillah, we are licensed company and we are not licensed just now. We are licensed company and we are managing this property from past 10 years, and we do have more than 800 properties currently under our management. And recently this month, what makes me the agent of the month also. So that was the reason I got 25 properties under the management plus the transactions and all that. Because why people are keep trusting you and giving you such properties? You are working for them, you are taking care of their investments, and you are making sure that they will be making more money. Because sometimes you have invested in such kind of areas, and in that area you need to renovate your property, right? You need to
right.
furnish your property, you need to make it more renovated, more bright and more appealing. So for that reason, that is also a part of property management services that we are offering to the owners.
As a team,
Yeah,
right?
as a team. As a team, we do have so many different departments. We have a leasing department, we have a sales department, we have like admin support, we have marketing team, we have social media team, we have photographers, we have videographers. So we do have everything. Like plus the most important maintenance team. We do
Maintenance.
have maintenance team which is 24/7 available, uh, waiting for your call. Like basically sometimes it, like there's a leakage or something happens, you can contact us directly and you can sort this matter out. It happens, it matters like case to case. So sometimes there is some buildings who are being in taking care of your emergency services like management services, but other than that, if they are not, then you do not have to worry because we are there for you.
Understood. Well, thank you for explaining that. And, in that regard, we also have some more questions on this, especially in terms of maintenance, which is how often do you do inspections? And let's say we've got it on the screen. How do property management companies in Dubai handle maintenance and repairs for properties under their management? And who's responsible for basically supplying those items, and who decides what is being placed in a property for maintenance purposes, the material that is used, let's say.
That is also another good point, because mostly what maintenance companies or what management companies are doing, just to make a quick buck, they are using some cheap materials, which causes the problems for the like for the tenants and for the landlords. Let's suppose if we do have some issues, some leakage today, and we just wanted to make a quick buck. So what we will do, we will use the cheap quality of material, and we will be making the money. But the person who is doing this, he's not realizing that you are losing this relationship with the owner and with the tenant. I always say to everybody, if you are giving your 100% to your tenants even also, because they will be your future buyers, right? So you have to take care of them also. Plus, that is also a part of your integrity. Like if you are in that situation, what you will do for yourself? You will do the same things for yourself? No. So in that terms of concerns, what we will do, we will make two or three different types of quotations with different kind of materials. By making this sure, we are not quoting any kind of cheap materials or cheap any kind of a cheap services that is going to cost you more in the future. So we will make sure, we will even educate the owners in the time of these issues. We will also go back to the owners by giving them the quotations, and at the same time we are talking to them, we are discussing to them and educating them. Even you are paying this more, use this good quality, so you will be not ending up paying every 15 days, every 20 days, every 6 months. You do not have to pay again and again for the maintenance. So use the right material,
Right.
use the right services. So in that order, because what I believe is the tenant, they are also paying from their hard-earned money, right? So
That's
they have all the right, they have all the like they have all the right for that. So they need a quality better life because they are also working, they are away from their home. So you should make sure that you are giving them a feel that they are in home and they are well taken care of by agency and by the landlord, who is not not costing us more just to make a quick buck in just a short term run. So yeah, this is what it is.
understood. And that also brings me to a very important question, which is certain time period, if the need arises and there are any legal disputes, is the property management company there besides the landlord and to assist them with it? And who handles or settles these legal disputes?
Okay, this is another very important questions regarding this one. So regarding a rental dispute, right? So we are facing these issues every single day. Usually disputes not happening in that majority numbers, like that numerous numbers that we are facing this again and again and again. It happens very rarely, very rarely. In that scenarios, like when we are managing this property and when we are signing this contract, we will make sure that we will write each and every aspect of that with the landlord in that property management contract. So let's suppose I will give you a simple example. We are rising up with a dispute, a rental dispute. So whatever into our hands as a company, as an agency, as a brokerage company, whatever we have under our management, like under our hand, we will do it for you. We will try to sort it out matter into like some different certain points that will not extend to courts or legalization and all that. So we are there to make sure like it's not going to be happen. But in any worst scenarios, if we are facing such challenges, then definitely we need the lawyers, we need to go to the way court in order to proceed further with such kind of a challenges and disputes. And you was asking about who will pay for these kind of a services. It was always mentioned in my property management contract that owner has to bear such kind of a cost for the hiring a lawyer, or either there is a court fee or whatever. But in that scenario, it happens very rarely in Dubai, very rarely. Like you can say above like out of 100 or out of 10, you can say that it happens for only once in a blue moon, like for the one time. It doesn't happen real like every single day or easily in this market.
Understood. Well, so you were talking about these services, and so you also talk about listing the property for the landlord, making sure that the property is generating revenue as per the valuation that has been assigned to the property, right? So, in that regard, we also have a question in the comments, which is what strategies can newbie property managers employ to attract and retain high quality tenants in Dubai? So, what are some of the strategies that you might be using in that regard? Which is
Okay, so let's suppose there are certain ways, and there's so many technicalities regarding this one. So I must say, according to my experience, newbies cannot handle such kind of stress and such kind of strategies that they are going to have the overcome of those properties, right? If we want the high quality tenants, we need to give them a high quality of property, right? We need to give them such kind of a services, then we will be able to get high quality of tenant. According to me, every tenant is a high quality tenant if you are giving them a good service, if you are giving them all the commitments and you are fulfilling all of those promises that you have made when you are going for the viewing and you get into the discussion. So there is not a big that kind of a strategy that we have to set together and we have to make a strategy. There is nothing like that. If you are being genuine, if you are being transparent, and if you are being honest from the day one, then and you are offering the good quality of the property, then definitely you are having the quality tenant. And even if you are not taking care of that quality tenant, let's suppose you got a high profile client, in your words, good quality tenant, you got that, and you are not giving them a good services and you are not taking care of your property, then what does that mean? It means that you are losing the good quality client also. So even though you are the newbies or even though you are experienced, I always give this message to every other my fellow brokers, even they are working in the market. Not go for the short term, not go for the short term like success or anything. Just work as a long term relationship.
Long
So
term, right?
in that scenario, you will be making a good relationship and good business in the coming few years.
Understood. Well, with that, we've hit our 30-minute mark, and so we'll be wrapping it up. And I've seen a lot of comments from our viewers, and that are pointing towards one single direction, which is, what are some of the key factors that are involved when landlords want to choose a property management company for themselves? And in that regard, I'd like to put in a plug in here. And if they were to go for Optimus Properties, what is it that sets Optimus Properties apart, and how does the pricing for the property management work, right?
So, as per I told you before, why they need to choose Optimus Properties. Definitely, we have been in this industry from past 10 years and managing more than 800 units. Plus, what makes us different, I believe it's a quality services we are giving to the landlords and plus to the tenants. So regarding the fees of the management contract, it's very comparatively very low. It's very competitive in the market because a lot of people who are even giving the less services than we are providing, they are charging 10%, 15%, 20% of their properties, and we are charging very nominal, which is 5% of your annual rent. And even your contract length will be like the duration of your contract, it will be like 12 months. So even though you have a right to say like we are not doing right and we are not doing good and this and that, so you will not renew the contract for the next year. But in my experience, alhamdulillah, there is not a single property I have lose till now from so many past experiences. And even though those landlords who came from another agencies and who came from another brokers, they are still with me and they are bringing more business for me as a referral. So in that terms, if you are providing the good services and such minimum amount, because if mostly people have concerns about how much I have to pay for managing this property and this and that, I always say one thing to them: no matter what amount you are paying to us, even though you can pay us 50% of your annual rent amount, but you will not understand the stress, the efforts, and the technicalities we are doing 247 a day regarding that property. So we are managing everything. So our fees is very nominal for you. So we do not have to worry about the fees, and it will be shown to you very little when you will see our services, when you see how good we are in the market and how we are taking care of your properties and making sure that for the next year you will be ready, you will be more happily ready to sign the another contract with us.
Well, I think with all the things that you've mentioned, I think landlords would certainly see the value that is being provided to them in a long-term perspective for compared to the cost that we are putting against the services being provided, right? So, Abdurrahman, thank you so much for being here today. I know we have a lot of questions here in the comments. We might not be able to get to all of them today, but in case after this webinar ends, somebody has a question for you, or they want to reach out to you and inquire more about property management services, what's the best way for them to do that?
So for that, I use my Instagram a lot because I'm getting a lot of inquiries over there and I'm always there to answer a lot of the inquiries of the clients. So you can write down my Instagram, which is realtor underscore ARK01. So you can hit me up any time of the day. I will be there for you.
Well, thank you so much for that. It was a lovely conversation with you today. And for all those who are watching us today, we just want to inform you that this was our first webinar session. And I hope you found that helpful, because we are going to continue to do these sessions very frequently on a bi-weekly basis, or something that we have to decide. But if you found this helpful, just know that there's many more coming to answer all your questions you might have regarding the real estate industry in Dubai, concerning buying, selling, renting, and even investment. So thank you for joining here today with us. This was Optimus Properties telling you about property management services here in Dubai. Abdurrahman, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hazim, and thank you so much for calling me over here. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
ओके।